This Monday on Beyond the Headlines, free but owed, the real reparations question. Join host Colin Dow as we tackle independence, sovereignty, and the realistic probability of reparations with an expert panel which will include Ali Gill, chairman of the Grenada Reparations Commission, Dr. Wendy Grenade, political scientist, Eric Williams, chairman of the Guyana Reparations Commission and deputy chair of the CARICOM Reparations Commission, Professor C. Justin Robinson, principal and pro-vice chancellor of the UE5 Island campus. Don't miss this lively and insightful conversation. Tune in Monday at 8:30 p.m. Get the facts, hear the perspectives. Go beyond the headlines only on GBN.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number one. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
Hey everyone, here is an invitation to join me this and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on GBN Television 711 K105 FM, our Facebook page and YouTube channel for Kaiso Talk. Meet the Kaisonians, hear their stories, feel the vibes. Kaiso Talk, Wednesdays 8:30 p.m. Compliments the Grenville Credit Union.
Let me say a healthy good morning to one and all. It's Monday, the 9th day of February 2026. Good morning to those of you via social media platforms, Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning to you once again. Welcome. Those of you also viewing and listening via gbn.gd, good morning to you. Sometimes I met someone the other day say, you don't shout us out who listen to you via your web page. So good morning to you. They were visiting the island. Good morning and welcome. Let me say good morning to Mr. Sylvan McIntyre, Mr. Richard McPhail. Good morning to both of you. How are you doing? And happy belated independence.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, GT.
Good morning, GT, and same to you.
Everybody
and
good?
Your listeners.
Everybody's good?
And the followers.
And followers.
And the viewers.
And the viewers.
Good morning to everyone.
All right.
Yes.
What a great weekend it was in the Spice Grenada celebrated 52 years as an independent nation.
Yes.
And we saw, was it on Friday, everybody was decked off in their colors showing their patriotism and their love for the island.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. That was good. The oil down.
Yeah.
You had a lot?
Yeah, man.
No, not just a lot. Did you have enough?
I didn't have enough, but
I didn't have enough. People speak about oil dung and they tell you about all of these pots everywhere and everywhere else. And when you look at the access to some of them and everything
that was
else,
the problem.
I think that was the problem. Huh?
I find they had too much of pictures of oil dung more than the actual food you get in the food.
Oil dung being available, exactly. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
And even in the oil dung, you have the national colors embedded. Eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Naturally embedded. The saffron.
Yes.
The breadfruit, the callaloo, the pepper, the carrots, and all of that.
None of the artificial stuff. We ain't going for that.
And
we ain't good for that.
Absolutely. So once you put that there, you can tell that that's true Grenadian.
Some people use
what
you call it?
Food coloring. Food coloring
in the dumpling.
No, I don't. That's not
healthy. So
that's not healthy.
We're not going to promote that aspect of it. I understand the reasons why people use it.
Yeah.
But it's not something we want to promote as healthy stuff for you to do at all.
And speaking about the oil dung, our national dish, and some people say our second national dish is chicken and chips, right? I hope we don't really have that, but and maybe it could be number one in a lot of sense. I hope it isn't. But speaking about the origin of oil dung and our heritage and our ancestry and what we came through, I don't think enough emphasis is being placed on our national dish, despite the many pots and the GBN oil dung fest and all that. Because if you look at the period of slavery and the plantocracy era and all of that, and how oil dung came into being. Oil dung was originally, and sometimes some of the islands referred to us as slave food. And actually that's what it was. It came from the plantation. Everything came from naturally produced. So you look at the corn meat. Yes. The pork came right from the pig that they grew.
The cornfish.
They took the salt from off the sea. You remember one time when we used to be getting salt from the salt pond in the south?
Yes.
And it's one of the things I think we should also look at. That salt pond in the south that is now embedded within the airport authority, it is still active. It is still producing salt. And a lot of people don't know about that. So when they see draws and subside a bit, people still, the access to the airport authority, they can still pick up those salt. So the point is, I don't think a lot of Grenada even are aware that we have naturally produced salt in Grenada, and the salt pond in the south is one of the places that we used to get them from. But in the past, when our waters was greater in its natural enrichment and so forth, you could have just gotten, and there was a process through which you drew the salt from the salt water. You do a process of evaporation, and then the concentration, and then they dry out and you get salt.
Yes.
So the pork was made then from the pig that was grown. The dashing and the ground provision and everything else came from the soil.
Yes.
Right.
The dumplings then were used from the corn flour. They grew the corn, they pung the corn, created the flour, and they made the dumplings. You talk about saltfish and other salt meat. It was salt fish, but it was fish that was conned again from the salt. The coconut.
The cornfish gives you a different taste.
A different vibe.
We import it.
A different vibe. And when you speak about the coconut, that gives you the oil dung. And you see even people in competition putting the coconut cream and the powder and all of that. So the cream, you got the coconut from the garden. The coconut was grated. And in the older time, they used those chip stone to grate the coconut. So they cracked the coconut in two and used the stone to pull it out. As you groove and came forward a little bit, they used the bent cutlass. They created those little grooves, and you grated the coconut and creamed it and so forth. And so you got that cream that went in. The saffron that gives it the color also came right from the ground, and the color will give it its enrichment. So you see right there, without spending 1 cent, you have your national dish. And I think we should produce all that. But oil dung has become one of the most expensive dish to produce.
I know.
Yes.
When you start gathering the ingredients, it has a cost to it.
It's a big cost.
Especially if you are out of the island. If people in the diaspora who want to cook on oil dung,
I know.
They have to save some money throughout the year.
It can cost you above $100 US in terms of just gathering.
I know.
I have seen it happen already.
Absolutely.
It costs you above $100 US just gathering the ingredients.
But it could be if it's commercialized and if it's treated properly. If we promote our national dish throughout even our diaspora when these times come, and you push it even through tourism, that Grenada's national dish, people pay anything for it. I see some people charging some exorbitant price, and what they give you sometimes is yellow breadfruit. I bought
a little bowl of thing for $30.
Somebody bought me a little oil dung a couple of days ago. 3 slices of ripe breadfruit, 2 dumpling, 1 piece of salt meat, and a piece of chicken wing. And they colored it just with curry or something, so it was yellow. It was not this saffron
color,
orange type color that like similar to the kind of spunky shirt Richard is wearing kind of a thing, you know. But yeah, the point I'm making, I'm expanding on this a bit because we're still in independence. We're still looking at our heritage. We're still looking at appreciating what we have. I think all along should be promoted in a greater sense. It should be sold throughout the year. We should find means of preserving our breadfruit, even if we have to get out from the other islands close to us to keep it. Yeah. St. Vincent always have a good load of breadfruit.
I was about to say
we have a good relationship with them.
Start preserving the breadfruit.
Of course.
Because outside of February and August, you could hardly find a breadfruit.
Yeah. And when people come to our islands, what they want to find is something that is local,
indigenous,
something that is indigenous to Grenada, and I think all along is one of those.
You know, something I wish could happen, not for now, but I think should be implemented next time. I hope my goodly producer is listening. You know, we'll be doing all along business here.
Right.
We want it done in the authentic way.
Okay.
That could be part of the category that you could.
On the firewood. And
in terms of how you mentioned the entire preparation, the authentic way, and you could be judged for doing it in the authentic way in terms of the preparation part of it.
I think there was a category for the originality of something of production, but I think you're right. More focus should be paid on it, and the people who intend to involve other aspect of it, their grading would be lower. Obviously, you cannot get points. And
once you don't keep it authentic, you will be graded at a lower.
And that is why.
And I think the grading should start from the start of your preparation.
Exactly where I was going, because I saw one of the producers there early, and I was saying to her, "Are you capturing all of this essence? The people who were putting the firewood together, the spice wood and everything else, and there were people who were grating the coconut on the grater on scene. And
there was some video aspects of that.
Great,
I see some video aspects of that.
And there were people who were starting the fire in even some traditional mean without regular fuel, gas, and all them kind of stuff. So these kind of thing comes in my opinion. The point process should start. So it pushes people to getting to the site a bit earlier.
Yes. And raise your standard.
And you raise the standard of the local preparation of the product. And I think that is bringing us into when we get into 53 going and beyond. Yes. A lot of things that are generic to us should be promoted a bit more.
All right. I agree. Another aspect I want to talk about, Mr. Mark, you know, for the folks from 9 o'clock this morning, which you already started, you know, now as I starting that road project, that replacing pipes from the Bolio to the Deco service station. I think it's from Snook Corner to Deco service station area.
And then to the Hills of Ice.
Yes, I think that's where it's going to be going.
Yes.
So folks got to start expecting some delays coming in the next couple of weeks. The project should already started. I think it starts from 9 a.m. or 9 a.m. this morning.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, my little concern with this, I think there was not enough publication of the process that are going to be taking place.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know these things, a period of times, pipes have to be replaced. So nobody's having a problem with pipes. Knowing the busyness of that particular road on a daily basis, I'm seeing lots of congestions taking place.
Good.
You know, honestly, I'm seeing lots of congestion. Although they did mention that, you know, there will be wardens and stuff to control the traffic and stuff like that. But I think sometimes I like to say it's a prepping people's mind, just like you're cooking our food too.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
You need to prep people's mind that something is coming. And yes, they did mention that the project will be starting. I'm not saying they didn't mention that. But after that press conference and stuff, there was no talk about it again. Only till a couple of days ago, I saw a release via Facebook. You know, one of those, you know, just a little photo showing the route and whatever. But I think there should be a more prepping of the mind, so we know what to expect in the coming weeks.
Yes.
So for a lot of individuals who will be traversing that road as of today, it will be a bit of a shocker for them. Lots of folks may not go look for that particular information via Facebook.
Another area as well is Green Street.
Right in St. George,
Green Street.
I saw
as
that
of today as well.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They actually started it yesterday. Yeah.
Sewer lines.
They started it yesterday. I saw they were working on it yesterday, but you know, I just think that sometimes a different approach needs to be taken towards this thing.
Yes.
Because different information avenues, not everybody visit them. There's a traditional way of dispersing information. Radio and television understand that. And I think it has gotten to a stage where not much folks who want to disperse is using these mediums.
Yes.
All right. Yes, you know everybody goes on Facebook. Everybody goes. We understand that. So you think it's maybe better to put the information out there. But sometimes folks looking for other things to look at than look for news pertaining to our road project. You understand?
And we had one radio station back in
back
the days.
then.
Yes.
Let's give the credit. Let's give the credit to GBN AM back then.
Yes.
You know you will come here to listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's approximately what about 15 to 17 radio stations in Grenada.
Right.
And so you know the listenership is now split a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, especially among the younger folks who listen radio, they may not want to hear myself, Sylvan, and Mr. McPhail talking. They want to hear music.
Right.
But whoever is pressing the music now could have been speaking in relation to that project coming within the music, if they are able to do it in a proper way. You understand? So I just think...
But is there a cost associated to this process of the information?
Well, there may be a cost with it. I'm not saying there wouldn't be, but I'm saying if you spread your wings wide enough, you get more. And they say if you spread your wings wide, you get...
And I asked a question.
Right?
And I asked a question because I know a lot of the entities involved in media. They would do a lot of it as a public service announcement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can be done as a public service announcement. I'm not saying no. I mean, I don't think any radio station would deny you or say, well, just throw this out for some folks know what's happening.
Mm-hmm. That's the point.
You understand? I don't think a radio station owner would say, nah, I ain't doing that.
So we're saying that getting the information, you can get it free of cost.
You can get it.
And Facebook, as you say, is not a regular means for the average person to find information. But going back...
Of that nature.
And going back to the point that we made and established on the programs a couple of times, it also hinges on the aspect of defensive driving, understanding and the situational awareness, preparing yourself for the road or the journey ahead of you. So we are guilty in all sense, from the highest to the bottom level process of information, that we do not share information sufficiently and timely. It comes at a time, sometime when the access to it is a challenge, difficult. And it puts you in a sense of anxiety. So somebody coming out to work this morning and just hearing about this diversion, it gets you antsy, it throws you off your entire system. But if that information goes further back, a couple of days ahead, and some of the regular callers to this program will also tell you that the planning processes throughout leaves a lot to be desired. Because I am sure if the planning and the discussion is taking place long ahead, and the process of consultation and the process of information sharing, you will be able to reach the audiences in better time. There'll be less anxiety. You will be more time sensitive. You may make better use of time, and the flow of things will go better. So it goes back to the whole aspect as to how we plan. And when we plan our implementation processes, do we have stages, do we have steps, and do we have monitoring and evaluating processes as we go along to check and balance? So if I'm in an entity, business or otherwise, and I have a product that is out, I'd want to be able to test how that product is doing out there. Similar, if you're doing some of these road projects that we understand that is really good for us, it is useful. Nobody is saying they don't want the water to be enhanced.
No.
Everybody wants it, to be honest. And not just the south of the island, it's a Grenada. And I've heard, I think the Prime Minister spoke in similar regards, that the process that is taking place is for the benefit of everybody.
We don't have a problem with the inconvenience at times. We don't have really a problem. But it's the man which is inconvenience comes to
and the information process. So you're saying that there are certain times that people should put the elements, the agents out there to test what they do. And if we are really conscious of quality control and maintaining standards, we will do that. Because as a construction entity, as a service entity, you want to ensure that your service is always AI. So you want to have a process of listening and hearing and getting feedback as to how am I doing out there. And I think because our environment is not competitive enough in terms of if we did not do it right, somebody else will take it. I think that leads to a lot of the complicity. But if people know that they fall up, and I remember one time there was a construction process that was going on somewhere by the Choice Bakery somewhere around there. And one of the contractors, and I have information that is direct about it. One of the contractors there was, and the people were not very happy with what was going on and everything else. You know what? The contract providers, they pulled it back. They suspended and awarded it to somebody else. to get it to the point where it could have moved quicker and the people could have been satisfied. Because that other one was giving all different excuses and giving all differences and cuts here and cuts there. And the people who awarded the contract, they were not satisfied, definitely. And they said, you know what? It is to the disadvantage to our company, to the area, the inconvenience of others. You know what? We're going to take somebody else.
Right.
They took somebody else, and in quick time, you saw that whole quick.
I remember
you saw the change.
I remember the change. It was inconvenience for a while. That project was like in slow motion for a bit. For a wee bit.
And we need more of that to happen in Grenada. You look at the Woodlands Cliff project and all that, and going on. And you look at other places across, and you see some projects going on. It just seems to be dragging you, wondering what's going on. And finally, in terms of that aspect of the water enhancement project we're speaking about, and even the repaving, we've seen that take a little bit of momentum now. They're covering back those ends. But our concern going forward, in the interest of safe driving and everything else, are we going to have all of these potholes that were created continue? And some of these refilling of those areas, they're not done to the levels, so there's rise and fall. It's not balanced across. You still have the bumps and the winds and wiggles as you drive along. So will there be a repaving process soon after of the entire road surface? Because the construction itself, even if they are undertaking some work where the pipes have been laid or otherwise, and they are replacing that, but it has also caused deterioration for other areas. So are we going to take that into deep consideration for the convenience, the safety of everybody else, that we are going to be having a repaving of road?
And the cost, of course, to the motoring public also. Especially those who owns vehicles. It's the use of the quality of the road is becoming a cost.
Your bushings and your rubbers going through those roads, trust me, it is a cost to be borne. And as I mentioned this, even repaving the roads and so on will have a huge cost. And so I think going forward, the planners may want to consider that, how we pay a little bit. We're not talking taxation and tariff, but we're thinking about how do we contribute towards maintenance of our road surfaces and so on. Like we did with garbage disposal, waste disposal. There's a levy that goes directly towards that, and we've seen a remarkable.
But I think we pay on the license.
I think the license.
That's where that extra $50 comes in.
Going towards that?
Towards what? The road inspection. That should be for road maintenance.
Thank you for educating me.
Was mentioned. That extra 50 is for road maintenance.
It goes. So that's what we pay.
That's what we pay.
Yes. Okay, so we are soon to see a more defined maintenance process of our roadways and so on.
Hopefully. But a thought come to mind. You spoke about the roads and the repaving.
Yeah.
Could we have that in sync with the replacement of the pipes? Could not that have been thought of?
It goes back,
because now there's going to be added delays coming up in a few months or weeks from now. When after the pipes are done, you put down that little piece, and then when you have to do the repaving now, that's going to be another process where road delays comes up again.
It's different. And
in a press conference recently, Prime Minister outlined the areas.
He did speak about it, repaving.
But I'm saying, couldn't that have been synchronized at the same time?
I don't think it's based on the project design and the pipeline. It would have been possible to do that in some ways. Maybe, I don't know, the talk might have, I did not sit on any discussion. Maybe the talk might have gone through, and they may have figured that the best way to do it is to lay the pipes first, and when you're doing road surfacing, you would cut off, because you can move much faster with the road surfacing.
I understand.
Mm-hmm. Because at the pace when you're laying the pipe, you can't do, for instance, you lay 50 feet of pipe. Would you then come and resurface 50 feet? You want to do more than that?
I understand, but I'm saying there are areas that is deemed complete now.
Yes.
Right? So can you see the resurfacing? Couldn't the process of resurfacing start? Couldn't that have started in areas where because we drive along there now and we see there ain't nothing going on there.
Right.
You understand?
As a matter of fact, along the Kelly's Road, True Blue area, there's bush actually growing in the trenches that were dug by Nawasa.
Okay, because of the length of time.
Yeah.
But we are pointing to something which is critical: the planning process as an implementing of projects, how they are actually undertaken, and I'm sure if a lot more consideration is given.
Yeah. I mean, I know cost also plays a heavy part in that. Cost also plays a heavy role in it.
And so they have to also balance where are you going to do the inconvenience. I remember one time they had to cut off the Granite Town Road.
Yeah.
And how long would you want to do that for? So even that has to go in like now. It should have been in already. When we are going to resurface, and you have to cut off some place and direct for it. So it takes less time to cut off the traffic, create a bigger inconvenience, allow people to plan for more time, and you take less time because less distraction. So once you cut that off at a certain time, you know that you're paving. We've seen places abroad where we've been, GT, that you drove in by 7 o'clock the evening, and you saw the road one way. And when you come up by 5 a.m. the next day,
it's completely
miles of roads are completed because they would have walked. And I think that speaks to resources, one, and how you plan for what you want to do.
All right. I know we, of course, we drew for a break, but I have a final thought, part of, and I'm not sure if you may tell me if it's relevant or not. Couldn't that project that needs to start, that is about to start in the Bolio or the Snow Corner area to Deco in Tempe, going all the way up to the Hills of Ice, couldn't that have started after the completion of the Southern project?
I don't know. I can't answer that. It's a question.
Could that have started? Because, you know, it seemed like two projects are going on at the same time.
Right.
You understand? And we know, so there's still inconvenience. There's still inconvenience in the southern part. And then, you know, you're creating one and the other. That's
well,
but remember, technically it's not two projects.
Yeah.
Multiple projects.
I think it's island-wide. And you would want to ask, we might not be exposed to the in-depth technical details as to why it has to be running concurrently,
right?
But we find the comments coming back, the inconvenience across of multiple projects. It will obviously lead to mass inconvenience, and people be asking the question: was it necessary for us to undertake those? And so we cannot answer that. I'm sure the technical people say the reason why we had to undertake them collectively is because connecting X, Y, and Z together, doing one now, and you may have to do this again and so forth. It makes good sense for us to streamline them, do the pressure testing X, Y, and Z, so that we all of those are not information that I have, but I'm thinking those would have been some consideration.
Okay. We drew for that break. Let's take it. We come back and get into our conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the point. Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back after the break. Don't touch it down.
With the interest on a good salary, what hope is there for everyone else? It's an unrepayable debt, and it wasn't really what we...
My name is Dr. Abigail Noel, and I am the head of department at the Accident and Emergency Department. One thing I love about Mount Sinai is their spirit of collaboration. They came in with ideas that have transformed our department in real time. The implementation of ID bands for every patient that comes through the emergency department. That has decreased patient errors. They have implemented defibrillators on every ward. Thus far, 128 staff members have been trained in defibrillator use. The huddle system is basically small meeting with all team members. It improves communication between staff members as well as with patients. This transformation means everything to the emergency department and by extension the health system of Grenada.
This Monday on Beyond the Headlines, free but owed, the real reparations question. Join host Colin Dow as we tackle independence, sovereignty, and the realistic probability of reparations with an expert panel which will include Ali Gill, chairman of the Grenada Reparations Commission, Dr. Wendy Grenade, political scientist, Eric Williams, chairman of the Guyana Reparations Commission and deputy chair of the CARICOM Reparations Commission, Professor C. Justin Robinson, Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor of the UE5 Island Campus. Don't miss this lively and insightful conversation. Tune in Monday at 8:30 p.m. Get the facts, hear the perspectives. Go beyond the headlines only on GBN.
Follow Short Pre for your car stereos and music. Looking to upgrade your ride or replace that Japanese car radio? Prestige Audio is having a big car stereo sale for all vehicles. Toyota, Suzuki, Honda, Nissan, Jeep, and more. We've got you covered. Enjoy free installation at our Lucas Street branch with clean, professional, plug-and-play installs you can trust. Need powerful sound for your church, home, party, or DJ setup? Visit our XL Plaza, Grand Anse location for PA systems, speakers, mixers, microphones, and car audio built to perform. 2 locations, one name you can trust. Visit Prestige Audio today, where sound meets excellence.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again to The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. Mr. Sylvan McIntyre, of course, Mr. Richard McPhail with us this morning as usual, as we take you through today's edition of To The Point. Gentlemen, welcome back. We had an extensive conversation in the first segment this morning. You know, I just thought I had to bring that.
That was useful.
Just had to bring that little bit of information in there.
Yes.
You know. But we didn't get our usual flowers in this morning, right. You know, and that's bad. You know, there's always something that stands out a whole lot.
Yes.
That we need to mention.
So remembering that this is to the point.
Yes.
So every comment that we make, people will find out what's the point in what you make.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then to everything else, we always want to be fair. We don't want to be like negative critics, but we want to be able to give the flowers where the flowers is due. And give them the flowers and let us give them flowers like they can.
Yes.
So
Saturday we had the Independence Parade.
Great.
Right? And we saw a wonderful inclusion now of the schools that would have won the Intercol March Pass.
Yes.
Right? So we want to give flowers to those schools in general.
Yes.
But for me in particular, the convent girls.
Yeah.
You love the convent girls, right? They stole the show, right?
Excellent.
Yeah,
We need to give them flowers.
I agree.
Right.
I agree
Convent.
with that.
And
they always have that lovely march pass, and they have their sports.
Their sports,
right?
yes.
And you know, when whatever they portrays, whether the name of the particular house or whatever.
Yes.
You know, there's always something outstanding.
Absolutely. So it is saying to us, we can look forward for a legacy being built. We're looking forward for a pattern of more inclusiveness of the schools and students. In the past, we had situations where there were busloads of students in uniform. And I think the national colours may have taken precedence over just coming with the uniform. But they were organised busloads and trip to have students more involved. And I think the output that we've seen is a lot of work over the years gone into those processes at the schools. You can see that at the match pass, they're up in the game. The output is one, but the people behind the scenes who are doing. We want to commend the cadets and the police who are supporting them, flowers to them. But overall, in terms of the initiatives and the new ideas and the innovations that came into 52nd anniversary of Grenada's independence, I want to give special flowers to I think Jackie Lexis, the chairman of the organizing committee and so on, and a team of persons who really organized and put it together. I mean, a celebration of that magnitude, it takes a production team to be able to do it and to produce it. Obviously, there are areas that needed improvement that we can improve, but I think the innovation of the inclusion of some of those things has to be commended and flowers to be given.
I think it's good foresight from individuals who are putting it together to see those things to be put into place as schools and some putting them together. It's definitely good foresight.
And how about the theme, anchored in faith?
Yes.
And guided by purpose. I think that is real, a strong theme that can go on for centuries, basically. And it's a theme that not would be able to guide your administration. And I think when a theme is chosen, or administration as well should take the cue after that and should be guided. Because when you do a work plan or otherwise, or you do a strategic plan, you have your mission, which has its goals and everything and objectives and so forth, and you have your vision. Now, your vision speaks of where you would want to be. Now, when you have your theme as well that says you're anchored in faith, it is just saying that you are holding on to the principles of the evidence of things not seen and all of that.
I was just about to ask you what is faith
and how you're striving. But in addition to that, you also have to show that you have something that keeps you steady, that keeps you solid and strong. And that's what the theme is saying. You are anchored in purpose, meaning that you're always going to be looking for, to the point, what's the point? What's the purpose in what you're doing? So if you say you're anchored, you're always driven by purpose. And that's why you write plans and you have strategic objectives and all of these to guide you as you develop. And I think when themes are chosen, even if there might be plans written by ministries and departments and businesses, we should look collectively as a nation and we should be focusing. Are we really anchored in our faith? Is our faith really coming to being? Are we trusting that we will be there? And are we setting the purpose as to what we want to get, what we want to achieve by trusting in our faith? And I think flowers to the organizing committees and all of the dignitaries who participated in the independence celebration. I think everybody, and the colors and everything else, even the innovations and the added paratrooping that is brought back. The Ghanis and so on. I saw them too were wearing, some of them had Grenadian patch on their shoulders. Are they from Grenada? They have Grenadian families as well, or are they just celebrating with us?
I'm not sure. Probably just a celebratory mood or something.
I don't really think so. Because if you are, the patch has to be a Velcro something. And so they had it on the uniform attached, in my opinion, and the SSU would have those patches as well, because they showcase that they are from Grenada. And when you are in the military and so on, I know when we did this, like in North Carolina and those places, you always try to wear your country's flag to represent that you are connected in some way. So except somebody would clarify it for us, I believe some of those Ghanaian soldiers may have family links in Grenada or otherwise.
Grenadian roots.
And that's why maybe they were permitted. Or the government may have given them the okay to wait on the flag. Because a country's uniform has to be respected.
Yes.
And for a flag to be worn on a country's state uniform, it has to be something that has to be authorized from the very senior level.
Yeah.
So that is something I'm sure that we could have some further explanation on. But that's the flowers. We speak about defensive driving. We've been beating it for the last
so we,
couple.
of course, to get back into our substantive conversation this morning, we want to ask I want to ask a question in terms of defensive driving. And you said there are 5 points or 5 pillars, if you want to put
principles that we want to remind people of.
We expanded a whole lot about it for the last 2 weeks. Right? And of course, I don't think 3 sessions may be enough. There's lots we can expand in terms of defensive driving.
Yes.
And I think basically what we do here on the program is just graving the surface, because if we really go in depth about defensive driving, there's so much more we could do. I mean, time doesn't permit us. We just have an hour to talk about
that full course. That is really and truly.
There's a lot. So let's get to that 5 principles, we say, of defensive driving as we move along this morning.
And GT, I think our viewers and listeners will appreciate that the more time we speak about things, the more conscious people become.
I agree.
And sometimes it's not too much about the facts that we give, because we're not really trying to get people academically inclined in terms of improved to be passing an exam and all that. I think what we're doing is creating the awareness and the consciousness and hoping that people would pick up on even just a few words to understand. We speak about defensive driving. What really does that mean? How we can, increase what we do. And so the principles that we're going to mention, what we've been speaking about, they're all enshrined in those principles, actually.
Yes.
And we beat on some of them before, and we are going to speak about them. But in terms of chronological or sequencing, if you want to put it that way, or just to break it in smaller points that you can focus on them, I think we wanted to just mention it a bit. I just roughly mention some of the keys here. Looking further ahead is one of the keys that one needs to consider. I'll just read them all out. Constantly assessing your surroundings. That's a second key. Address distractions. You remember we beat that up sometime. And always have a plan B. I remember you were one of those who, I think it's you that always mentioned that always have a plan B.
Yes.
And staying visible.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of means of staying visible in terms of enhancing your vehicle, enhancing your own image as a person driving, and always ensuring that you put your vehicle in a position where people can see and you can also see. And those are 5 keys, and we broke it down into 3 other principles that people can probably just digest it and keep that. And one, it says you must have awareness. So awareness is one of the 3 principles that people should really be. Awareness, and that is broad. The other one is have an action plan, all right? And the other one is how you react to situation.
All right. I want you to expand on the first one for me. We bit Mr. McIntyre, because it could be misinterpreted in some way or the other. When you,
which one? For the key one?
Further ahead.
Right. That's one of the keys.
I'm saying, if I could have a crazy idea in relation to it, if you tell me look further ahead when I'm driving, would I miss what is ahead of me?
No, you wouldn't.
No.
Okay, I'm looking at it in this way. If I'm paying attention to what's taking place, let's say 90 feet ahead of me, and I'm driving.
Right.
Could be a crazy thought, eh?
No.
And there's a pothole right in front of me. Wouldn't I miss it?
No. And Richard,
I hope you get the direction I'm
getting your direction. We're coming to clarify that. Richard, as a former driving instructor, and I've been one as well, when you teach your students driving principles and how to be a safe driver, you do not teach them to just look in front of the bonnet.
They look ahead.
They need to look 2-3 cars ahead, technically. And similar, if you're driving behind someone, you're giving the distance 2-3 vehicles the space as well that you want to give. Our road sometimes doesn't always afford us to
in Grenada's road today. We know that.
It's not impossible. You should try to achieve that. But in most cases, you have to get closer. But the principle here is you must not just focus what is just in front of you. In other words, it is almost like figuratively saying you have to plan ahead. see yourself not just in 2027, 28, but see yourself in 2030 something. Where would I want to be? So now you're seeing literally and you're seeing figuratively, meaning you're looking in the distance, you're scanning in the distance, not keeping your eye, because if you go to the distance, you obviously have to pass the close to get to the far.
Yes.
So you can't be seeing far and not being able to see near. So if you look far, it helps you to focus near.
Yeah.
So you look further ahead and you realize, well, look, and you've done it many times, Richard.
Yeah.
You're coming up from Grandans heading towards St. George, and you look at the traffic slowing down by the post office. What are you thinking about doing?
Making a diversion.
Where?
Golf course.
Going up golf course.
Right.
But you're not waiting until reaching golf course gap to turn up.
I understand. I understand it from that particular point, but I'm just looking at it is that if you keep focusing ahead, sometimes you miss what is directly ahead of you.
No, but when you focus ahead, right, you see that vehicle is about to stop.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you now prepare yourself
To overtake.
Right? So you look further ahead and you anticipate what they will do.
I know that has helped in many cases in my own driving.
I understand that.
You are able to see you're able to see the stupidness that another driver is doing way up there, and you stay way back there and say, what this man, you stay quad round the corner and say, this man up by the cliff junction. You say, what is this man doing up there?
And then the person right ahead of you still going right up behind them.
And you don't want to do that.
No.
So in other words, the key is saying here, you always look further ahead. You don't just drive right in front and look at the man just in front of you there and so forth. And many times, I have so many examples. You're driving, and because that person ahead of you is not focusing ahead, a vehicle stopped because they had a problem, and the person stopped right behind them and they're waiting.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you in the third, fourth vehicle behind, what you do? You veer off and you're gone.
Exactly.
Because the person was not reading ahead. They're just right in front of them, they're focusing. So one of the keys in defensive driving, you cannot just focus on staying right behind the vehicle in front of you.
You see that all the time coming up the highway.
Yes.
Just I thought that was happening.
But nobody thought it's good. Because there might be people who...
And I was just saying it for argument's sake, you know.
Of course.
And if I focus right away ahead of me, what am I missing before me? You understand?
Yeah.
That's basically how I was looking at it.
Do you also know...
But are you able to focus on both at the same time? What is ahead of you and what is in front of you?
Yes, you can, and you should.
Right.
And that adds to another point in defensive driving when you're driving at night. And defensive driving at night also may help you in terms of protecting your own vehicle. So many times you're not driving on the proper beam.
Yeah.
You have the high beam and the low beam. So the high beam would give you a further focus ahead.
Yeah.
Tells you, see, the low beam, or what you call dip, when you dip your light. It's not dim, it was dip, right?
Dip, yeah.
Oh, good. And this is something dips, right?
But some folks say highlights, low lights for some reason or the other.
Good. So what happened? There are sometimes, based on the beam that your light is on, you don't see the potholes that close to you.
Yeah.
So you're dropping them.
That's one reason I don't drive with high beam.
Because the high beam pushes beyond your vision, your distance that you
kind of keeps your perimeter a little bit closer when you drive with the low.
That's right.
So when you switch it on, comfortable for me.
This low beam now strikes, and it gives you, because you're driving slower, you are able to, one, because you are slower, if it pops up in front of you, for instance, potholes is just pop in my. Sometimes we shouldn't call them only potholes. We should call them pop holes too, because they just pop up on you. You pass
pop holes, yeah.
Maybe I think that's what some people might take something. The pop holes and potholes. So there are some potholes, and now we have pop holes that are appearing. But it's also it's a real good discussion in terms of how people can prepare for that. And when you, especially low vehicles, I drive a low car sometime, and when the vehicle dropping, you feel it all in your head.
I agree.
Because of the hit on the suspension on it. So that was one of the keys. Any other one you want us to focus on before we're going to accept some callers?
No, we can take some callers, but I just see someone is making up from this. Someone is saying that, you know, dark tint on the back windshield of scopes, you know, following a drivers as well.
Yes, and that would also be one of the in the fifth keys where he's talking about staying visible and all of that?
Yes.
It has multiple ways of staying visible. And so the grade of tint, as a matter of fact, I don't think the COP allow a certain grade for your back windscreens and so forth, or fully back. There are some places where people tint the entire windscreen and just leave a peephole.
Yeah. I've seen that in St. Vincent.
I've seen in other countries where even the front windscreen is tinted, and they draw a strip right between.
There are some folks who have
craziness.
Who have that practice here also. I mean, sometimes the manner in which it's done, you have to really know that it's tinted in order to say, that it's tinted. Some folks, you may just think it's just dark, it's dark. But their front windscreen is also tinted. Some folks say it have benefits. It helps in terms of the glare at night, in terms of the other lights and stuff.
Yes.
Some folks have it for those reasons.
So, tinting and quality of tinting, law enforcement and grade of tinting, that's a whole other discussion. And legalities and illegalities of it and so on, that's a whole other discussion. But yes, but tinting in itself could be a distraction. I could impede your vision, it could deter, and in some ways it has its positive. But it should not be overdone.
All right, so listeners and viewers, if you want to tap in on the conversation this morning, feel free. 435-2041. It's to the point. We have approximately 10 more minutes left on today's edition. If you do have a comment you want to make in terms of the level of our conversation this morning, feel free to tap in as we move along this morning. Mr. McIntyre, with the 5 points, I stress a whole lot on the first one because, sometimes I still think that, you always should drive within your limit, the limit or the distance that you should follow.
Yes.
And I always think it's that way you're supposed to focus on, from my personal feeling. You understand? And I understand you're right, you look ahead. But I always think it's always for me, and it's beneficial for me to just drive where I am able to see ahead of me, just the vehicle in front of me, or the area, or the perimeter.
Is it because you wear glasses, or you have anything popping into vision, or that just?
No, it's just the way I feel comfortable. You understand?
Yes.
I make sure I give that vehicle that's ahead of me enough space, as you would say, that 20 foot or 30 foot, whatever.
Yes.
And I try to stay within there.
But you are a safe driver, and that has worked for you over the years.
And it has worked for me over
So
the years.
What we're trying to encourage is safety on our roads.
And I pay attention to the one ahead of me because you never know when they're going to stop, and folks do crazy stuff on roads at times. You understand? So I try not to focus too much ahead of me,
right,
and focus more that's within my particular vicinity that I'm driving.
Yes.
So that just in case somebody decides they want to stop,
right,
I'm already alerted for that. But if I'm focusing at 3 cars ahead, I'm not disputing what you're saying, but that's just how I feel about it.
So you know the reason why you're doing that?
Yeah.
I know why those principles hinge those keys hinge one into the other, because the other one says you're constantly assessing your surroundings. So your surroundings also will guide you into how you make decisions. Remember, these are not laws either. And remember that the law does not have common sense either. And in some cases, even some laws and principles, you have to be able to flex on some aspect of it for safety reasons.
All right. We're going to take your calls, 435-2041. I want to beg, of course, our listeners and viewers this morning, keep your contribution to a minimum so that we can accommodate as many callers as possible. We have a first caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. McIntyre and Brother McPhail. How your dad doing? In any case,
Good. He's good.
Question of safety and traffic regulations. Do we have a transport board? Because that transport board...
We have a transport commission, not a board, but a transport commission.
Well, there is a law, Chapter 201, which indicates about a transport board. I don't know if we still use certain laws in Grenada or if they're thrown out. But within Chapter 201, which has over 25 amendments since the year 1959, you have a transport board that they talk about in there. And that board should be advising the minister responsible as to the regulation and control of traffic. So we need to use what we have to get things done. If there is a transport commission now, probably there was some change. Also, I think the chief of police can grant special license. That can be looked at with regard to heavy equipment and the safety there. There is something else with regard to the use of drugs or drinks that can cause people to be under certain influences. How does that relate to, are there any changes to the laws regarding license and driving with the decriminalization of marijuana that needs to be looked at? Also within the context of somebody who might be driving in a careless or reckless way. And there is one other thing I think which needs to be looked at: the inspection and certification of vehicles. I mean, the way it is done, I don't think is the best. I don't think it provides a clear indication that your brakes is working right. So we need to have other means of testing and ensuring that vehicles are safe. And in that regard, do the inspectors keep a register with regard to the inspections that they do? One other thing is on the question of, well, bus drivers ought to have a license. Is there confirmation, is there compliance with conductors of omnibuses that they have to have a conductor's permit? Because again, I think that is there within the law. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. I appreciate your contribution this morning. Thank you a whole lot for that. In reference to the conductor's license, I think there is.
But there's provision.
There is. I'm not sure if it's really put a lot of attention into it now as it used to, but I know conductors usually have to have a license to be a conductor.
So what the caller has been alluding to is another aspects of the law, and any law that is available as read that you can have access to, it's in current effect. If not, it will be repealed, and the new aspect of it would be gazetted and circulated, etc.
All right.
But the law
so in terms of when he said the Transport Board and the Transport Commission, you know there's a new Transport Commission now.
Yes.
So is it that the board is dissolved or the board is still
I think the board was transcended into
a commission.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you would think that if there is a change in that aspect, it has to be reflected in the law as well.
Yes.
And I don't think that the new position would be or should be advertised before it's actually repealed. And so unless a law is repealed and taken down, the one that
has no effect.
Has no effect. Right. Someone is asking the question, what's the proper use of indicators and timely indicating?
Good question. You want to answer before we take the
let's take this call and then we go back. Caller Live, good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning, Doc.
Good morning to you, sir.
And good morning to Dr. McIntyre.
Good day, sir. How are you doing?
Right, not too bad. How good day. As we talk driving and safety, I'm making an observation. I'm discovering that we are getting caught up with this slipper drain, not the box drain. And my observation is that the box drain is creating more problems than the conventional drain which we call the Dutch slipper drain. You have many of the blockage you have during the rain when you look, it's tire or old stove or whatever it is. And as it relates to safety, it has very little room for drivers to maneuver just in case they have to avoid an accident because the road is so narrow. And if you're going to try to deviate, you get down into a box drain. As the government embark on a road rehab and expansion drive, I would like to advise or suggest that they get rid of this slipper drain, because I know many of them have to be filled up again if they have to expand the road. So it is a waste of money. That they do not go back into this box drain and should construct reasonable, good slipper drain that I think will aid in safety on the road. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution.
GT, we had aspects of the slipper and the box drain issue before, quite a bit.
Yes.
And we saw some move towards decreasing the amount of box drains.
Yes.
And in some cases, we saw that even over the Grande Tank, they did some filling back of some of those deeper box drain, and then they were doing the slipper. Okay. But in some cases, the box drains are unavoided.
Yeah. Because of the volume of water in those areas.
Yes.
Right? So you must do box.
So
some areas.
What should happen to complement the box drain is the covering. So in some cases, where you create those deep box drains, they should put platforms over them, or grills.
Yeah.
So that you have added road space.
Yeah.
And so if there's a situation where somebody had to veer off, they can still use that side, but the box drain itself is not compromised, and you do not get into a ditch that you can't get out of.
Yeah.
So in some cases, that is a very costly process.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned, the planning, how things should be undertaken. If you're going to do 1,000 feet of road, and you're going to put box drains all the way through, maybe you may want to consider backfilling, and you do 700 feet of road, and you do a fill-in where a slipper is, or an amalgamation of the two.
Okay.
Where that is concerned, the planning processes. But we also are saying that where you are committed to doing box drain, it should be complemented by covering. For instance, a typical place is that strip of road on Upper Locust Street, between the old government gate and the bottom entrance to the Parliament building.
Yes.
Now that is somewhere that can take box drain. They can put a proper box drain and put grill right across to the bank. So you have more space, because there are sometimes close to the Red Cross building, there are conferences and meetings and so on, and there are businesses on that street as well. And if you have a vehicle that is parked and takes 18 inches or 12 inches into the road, that's a lot. Because if a vehicle veers off from that vehicle, it veers about 3 or more feet from that 18 inches.
And down in the box drain.
And it may get into that deep box drain. So if you take the expense up front, where you are forced by reason of circumstance, because in that area, to get a box drain there, you have to do a considerable amount of filling, and what water will that be taken? The road surface does not allow you to get up to a slipper drain to take the volume of the water. So in that case, the situation dictates that you do a box drain. My recommendation is that if you do a box, you put concrete slabs, or you put grill rails over them and rails, so that you can get.
We do have another caller. Caller, live. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Mr. McIntyre.
Yes.
Company. Yeah, just looking to a correction here. What I'm saying now, the last time I saw they were paving road in Grenada is when that piece when you're going up to the Perseverance. They remember that high rock that would fall down? There's a big rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rock fall down, there was paving. So I think, and I work with company, when they were saying paving, you must be using a paving machine. So the machine is paving the road. That's when you see they're paving the road. What we're doing now is patching. No more, more than 5-10 years now, I see a paving machine paving in the road. What they're doing now is patching, not paving. Paving is when you have a paving machine doing the paving. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you don't necessarily need to have a paving machine. You can pave by other means, but because paving is a process.
Yeah.
And what he's alluding to is because there's this sporadic, and you have those pop holes that come up, you're obviously going to just patch it back and so on. But if you have to do a particular portion of road that goes by a certain length, you need to be able to pave it.
All right. And that question that was asked by the folks by WhatsApp, Mr. McIntyre, what's the proper use of indicators and the timely indicating?
The Highway Code speaks about the proper use of indicators, and your country laws, your statute laws could speak as to specifics in how certain things are done. But you would use an indicator on approaching a particular area where there would be decision that has to be made. Your indicators is not necessarily for you, but for the other road users to know of your intention.
Yeah.
So your intention must be signaled way ahead of time, not too far so it confuses, because there might be other places where you might be indicating on the right. So you may want to go up, let's say for instance, up the cliff coming from Calvin area, but you signaling right for all the way down by Norris James. But there's another road that comes in that goes back into Marian, and there's another road that goes into, how you call that road that goes into by the Marian multipurpose center,
Coco Road.
But you want to, so if you give too early an indication, it confuses the person behind. So as you pass that last thing, it's a good time if you go into the cliff to be able to put
to Monjalo.
up to Monjalo over to Woburn. You put your indicator on just after, so people don't understand.
Yeah.
I understand what the caller is they relaxing, because sometimes in the timely manner in which you do it.
Precision.
You understand? Should you do it when you are about to approach or
on approaching?
On approaching
Before you make a decision. Not when you get there. Some people stop and put on the indicator, and then someone. It's not the right thing, because you remember your indicator is not just for you. Your indicator is for the other person. As a matter of fact,
not for you at all.
Exactly.
It's not for you.
As a matter of fact, I know, and I think I mentioned on the program before, I was in Aruba like 2 years ago, and I was advised that the police do charge people for incorrect or not using your indicator.
Yeah.
So if you're approaching the roundabout, and they use a lot of roundabouts rather than traffic lights, you must indicate it at particularly which other direction that you're going. The police who are parked there, otherwise, okay, if you did not indicate, they'll pull you over and give you a ticket.
Okay. So McIntyre, Mr. McPhail, I think we got to that time of the morning that we have to take a wrap today. Anything in closing before we take a wrap for this morning?
Well, I think to the point on road safety, defensive driving, we wanted those principles and some keys to defensive driving to rest with people. We did give some flowers and some encouragement to the independence processes, but as we leave, we were not going to just try to load you with everything else, but I want you to just jot some of these keys down and some of the principles. Keys in defense: you must always look ahead. You must constantly assess your surroundings. You must address or deal with distraction. Always have a plan B while you're on the road, and you must also stay visible. And 3 basic principles: always awareness should be part of it.
Yeah.
The next one is you must anticipate what is likely to happen, people's action. And the final one, how are you going to react and your time to react.
All right.
Once again, wish everybody
all right. Anything in closing,
safe driving.
No, good program as usual, if I may say, and we'll continue.
We'll do this again next week. Gentlemen, thank you once again, and best wishes for the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Hey, folks, as we take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point, join me again tomorrow for another. Have a good one, folks. Goodbye.